Welcome back, guys, to yet another video. This is week 12 in our video lecture series. We're going back to High English vocabulary today. This video is being filmed in Cheonggyang-gung. I don't know if you guys can recognize it. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start with this first one, this adjective, craven. Please say it with me. Craven. Craven. Very simply, students, it means cowardly, to be afraid. Yonggi upnan, I think, is the Korean translation. Craven, cowardly. Let's go to the next one. It's a verb. Hamper. Say it with me. Hamper. It means to make something difficult. To prevent someone from doing something easily, or to make difficult. Sorry guys, one of the difficulties of doing this outside is occasionally there's wind or dust. Students, I did not underline it in my handout, but on yours, I don't know if you can see this, I know it's backwards, hinder, you might want to underline that and look it up. So, a steady rain hampered the progress of work. A steady rain made the progress more difficult. A steady rain hampered the progress of work. Look at the second example. Huge piles of snow that cover the roads will greatly hamper the efforts. What does that mean? Hamper the efforts. Make the efforts more difficult. So, huge piles of snow that cover the roads will greatly hamper the efforts of the rescue team to reach the stranded skiers. Hamper just means make something more difficult. For example, there are some people walking around me. This hampers my ability to concentrate. In Korean, 방해하다, hamper. This next one is easy, it's a noun. Proximity. Say it with me. Proximity. Proximity. It just means close or nearby. So I live in Imundong, which is not so nice, but I live within proximity of Imart. Proximity? What is that in Korean? It's a little difficult for me to say. Gagaung? Gagaung? Jeju-do is a popular travel destination for Chinese due to its close proximity. Just means near. I think you guys may already know that word. Now let's go to the next one. And it's an adjective. Please repeat after me. Ingenious. One more time. Faster. Ingenious. Students, ingenious, as you might guess, has a positive connotation. It just means clever, original, imaginative, resourceful. What do I have here? Showing remarkable originality, inventiveness, clever, as I already mentioned. In Korean, gibalhan. And just for visual aid, yeah, Steve Jobs, and he's holding the iPod. You could say that Steve Jobs was ingenious. Not genius, but ingenious, having the foresight, being resourceful and clever, and having being imaginative. As always, guys, I seem to choose locations that are popular with photographers. Please concentrate on me, not wandering ajushi. All right, moving on. When I first started making these videos, I found it to be very distracting, but now that I'm a YouTube star, it really doesn't bother me. Hi. It's funny. I wish you were here. Okay, this next one I like a lot. It's an adjective. Please repeat after me. Ubiquitous. I'll say it slowly. Ubiquitous. Okay, now a little faster. Ubiquitous. Faster. Ubiquitous. Good. Again, ubiquitous. Ubiquitous, guys, just means something that you see everywhere, something that is found everywhere. I have on your handout, students, present or appearing everywhere. What is it in Korean? Doja e itnan? I'm not sure if my pronunciation's okay. Ubiquitous? I'll give you an example. And you might think I'm crazy, but Yoo Jae-suk. Yoo Jae-suk is ubiquitous. I see his picture everywhere, on the side of a bus. Sometimes he endorses a vitamin drink. I bank with Woori Bank, and every time I open my smartphone, the banking application, I see his face. His image has become ubiquitous. Another example of ubiquitous, guys, smartphones are ubiquitous. Taxis in a big city, of course, are ubiquitous. Starbucks, I love Starbucks, but I mean, sometimes you'll see a Starbucks on one side of the street and on the other there's another one. So Starbucks are also ubiquitous. Oh gosh. Okay guys, the next three are all related: epidemic, pandemic, and endemic. These are words I hear a lot in the news, and I thought I would take a moment to differentiate the different words. Let's start with epidemic. You already know, a rapid, widespread outbreak of a disease. For example, the Zika virus. Do you guys remember that? Zika? Or in 2014, Ebola in West Africa. I'm going to use a bad word, guys. Ebola scared the shit out of me, more so than COVID-19. If you get Ebola, goodbye. COVID-19 is very serious, but I think there's a good chance we will recover. Anyway, another example, SARS was an epidemic. Here's an example. News reports predicted that this winter's flu epidemic would be very bad. And in Korean, 유행병, that's epidemic. Okay, now let's talk about pandemic, which is worse. A pandemic, I'll give you the technical definition in a moment, guys, but in my own mind, a pandemic is a disease that's occurring all over the country, in many countries around the world, and on multiple continents. 이해했어요? That's a pandemic. What do I have here? Disease prevalent throughout an entire country, continent, or the whole world. For example, the Spanish flu in 1918, and of course, today, COVID-19. Students, I'm not sure about the translation. I was looking this up last night. 세계적 유행병. Is that right? And the last one, guys, endemic, not to be confused with epidemic or pandemic. Endemic is a disease that is always present in a certain region. Okay, let me say that once more. Endemic, a disease that is always present in a certain region. For example, there are tropical parts of the world where mosquito-borne infection, for example, malaria, is endemic. Malaria is always present or endemic in Central Africa and South America. I think all times of the year, every year, it's just the climate, the geography, hot and humid. Malaria is always present there. Sometimes it appears in other places, but in Central Africa and South America, malaria is endemic, always present. Do you guys understand? Okay. Endemic students, I'm not sure if this is correct. 풍토병? I hope that's right. We have some more visitors. Hi. All right, guys. This next one, one of the harder words we've covered this semester. Very unlikely that you know it. Please repeat after me. Transmute. Transmute. Students, it just means to change from one form, substance, into another. To change from one form into another. What do I have here? Change from one nature, substance, or form to another. For example, transmute. Transmute distrust into cooperation. Students, do you know the word alchemist? I looked this word up. Yungam Sulsa? I think in the Middle Ages there were these kind of chemists who wanted to change or transmute lead into gold, which of course cannot be done, but they were hoping to achieve that. That's a hard one. Let's skip it. We'll come back to it. This next one also hard and a good one. It's an adjective. Excuse me. Please repeat after me. Tantamount. Excuse me. I have the hiccups. One more time. Tantamount. Please say it with me. Tantamount. Tantamount means essentially the same as. What do I have here? Having the same meaning, value, or effect. Virtually the same as. For example, this is on your handout, the armed invasion of their territory was tantamount, practically the same thing. The armed invasion of their territory was tantamount to a declaration of war. In Korean, dongdinghan, gatun. I'm not sure about these words. I'll give you another example, students. Just pretend, let's say I ask my girlfriend, did you cheat on me? Did you cheat on me? And she doesn't answer my question. She's just crying, she's crying. Did you cheat on me? And she continues not to answer. She's just very upset and crying. Her refusal to answer my question is tantamount to an admission of guilt. Do you understand? Her refusal to answer my question is tantamount, practically the same thing, as an admission of guilt. That's a hard one. Tantamount. Let's look at the next one. This one I think is easy. Together, please. Presume. Presume. What do we have here? A verb to believe something that is true because it is very likely, although you're not certain. A synonym, just suppose. Let's see here. Well, students, I presume you are watching the videos and enjoying them. Am I presuming too much? Let's see here. I have a few examples on your handout. The boat's captain is missing and presumed dead. You were sniffling a lot. I presume you have a cold. Jujanghara? Alright guys, a couple more and we'll stop. Let's see here. Yes. This next one is an adjective. Stranded. Stranded. In my mind, guys, it means to be stuck somewhere and you're not able to leave the place. Left without the means to move from somewhere. For example, sometimes at an airport, your flight is canceled for different reasons. Thousands of passengers were stranded at the airport when airplanes were grounded due to poor weather conditions. In Korean, this is hard for me. Odo gado mut hage hara. Ooh, difficult. Students, I hope this never happens to you, but sometimes if you're at the airport, particularly in the wintertime, the runway is snowy and icy. and you can get stuck at an airport for hours or even days, stranded. Students, I'm not sure if you've ever seen this movie, but there's a movie, a Hollywood movie starring Tom Hanks, and he's in an airplane crash. Have you guys seen this movie? It's called Castaway, and he gets stranded on a deserted island and he starts to go crazy, and the volleyball becomes his friend called Wilson, and he starts talking to it. Students, if you haven't seen Castaway, that's your homework assignment. All right, this is the last one. Easy. Let's see here. I wrote both noun and adjective. I'd like you to know them both. Together, please. Belligerent. Belligerent. A nation or person engaged or involved in war. A nation or person involved in war. You don't have to know this, but belligerent comes from the Latin word bellum, which means war. The adjective for belligerent, same spelling, same pronunciation, just means angry, aggressive, and eager to fight. In Korean, I think this is for the first definition, a noun, gyojangguk. Gyojangguk. Students, I rarely go to pubs. One of the reasons I don't like it is there's always some drunk guy whose behavior is belligerent. He's just really aggressive and wants to fight, he wants to fight everyone. So I sometimes I feel uncomfortable in those types of situations. Belligerent, are you belligerent? All right, guys, let's just review quickly. What's the word for cowardly? Craven. To make something difficult? Hamper. So easy. Near. Proximity. Imaginative. Clever. Resourceful. What's the word for ingenious? All right, this one's a little hard. Something that we see everywhere, found everywhere, common. Do you remember? Starbucks? Gimbap Changguk? Ubiquitous. Good. All right. I'll give you a hint here. These are the three diseases: epidemic, pandemic, and endemic. Okay, how about this? A disease that is prevalent, that means widespread. A disease prevalent throughout an entire country, continent, or the whole world. What is that? Epidemic, pandemic, or endemic? Pandemic. How about this? A disease that is always present in a particular region of the world. Endemic. Good. And process of elimination, a rapid, widespread outbreak of a disease. Yuhenbyung epidemic. All right. Let's see here. Okay. What's the word for suppose? To believe something to be true, but is very likely, because it's very likely, although you are not certain. Presume. Students, try using this word and try using this word presume. Make it part of your lexicon. You guys remember lexicon? Your vocabulary. Yeah, so start using these words. Presume, it's a good one. Okay. Left without the means to move from somewhere. You're stuck. For example, like at an airport. Could be a bus station, Could be anywhere. Stranded. And how about this? A nation or person engaged in war. Belligerent. I am about to become belligerent. Alright guys, we'll stop here for the day. Let's call it a day. Do you remember that idiom? Call it a day just means to stop. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.